series Whispers of Flame, the ancient path of fire magic. In the beginning, there was flame. Before temples, before language, before even the wheel, there was fire. It roared from the heavens as lightning. It erupted from the earth as molten lava. It danced in the hearts of early homes, crackling like ancient tongues. And wherever it appeared, ancient peoples knew this was no ordinary force. This was sacred. Fire as a divine encounter. To the ancients, fire was a bridge between worlds. It rose from the earth, yet reached for the sky. It destroyed, yet nourished. It blinded, yet illuminated. Fire was paradox made visible, and that made it holy. Long before modern witchcraft or ceremonial magic, fire was worshipped, not as a tool, but as a being, a spirit, a god, a living presence. Across cultures and centuries, we find remarkably similar reverence for fire, not only for warmth or cooking, but for spiritual connection, purification, and transformation. Mesopotamia, fire as a messenger to the gods. The Sumerians, Akkadians, and Babylonians saw fire as a divine translator. Their sacred hearths burned continuously in temples. In ziggurats, priests kindled fire to carry incense and offerings skyward. The smoke considered the very breath of the gods. Ishtar, goddess of both love and war, was associated with the morning star and the blaze of battle. Fire as both passion and destruction.
India, Agni, Lord of Fire.
One of the oldest surviving fire deities is Agni, worshipped in the Vedic tradition of ancient India. Agni is both fire and the god of fire. He lives in the flame itself, in hearths, in lightning, in the sun, in the ritual fire pit. He is the priest and the offering, the channel and the channeler. In the Vedas, fire was the first to be invoked during any rite. His flame consumed offerings and transported them to the other gods. Every ritual required his presence. Agni, accept our sacrifice and bring our prayers to heaven. Rig Veda. Agni represents fire as divine gateway, purifying, transforming, and transporting. Ancient Egypt, flame as solar radiance. In Egypt, fire was deeply tied to Ra, the sun god, whose blazing disk crossed the sky each day, illuminating and sustaining the world. But fire also had a darker, more protective side. Sekhmet, the lion-headed goddess of war and healing, was said to breathe flame upon her enemies, purifying the land in fire. Bastet, her sister, guarded the home with a more domestic flame, the hearth fire of protection and motherhood. The eternal flame in Egyptian temples symbolized cosmic order. If extinguished, chaos could re-enter the world. Celtic lands, Brigid's eternal flame. Among the Celts, fire held immense symbolic weight. Brigid, goddess of healing, poetry and smithcraft, was keeper of the sacred flame at Kildare. Her fire was tended by priestesses, always burning, never allowed to die. Brigid's fire was not just light, it was inspiration, the fire of the poet, transformation, the fire of the forge, and healing, the fire of warmth and life. Fire festivals like Imbolc honoured the return of the sun, the fertility of the land, and the renewal of light. Bonfires were kindled at sacred sites. Leaping over them brought fertility and protection. Germanic and Norse tribes, forge and flame. To the ancient Germanic tribes and Norse people, fire was a dual force, domestic and wild, creative and chaotic. Logi, the fire giant, personified consuming flame, while Surtra, the fire-wielding giant of Ragnarok, would one day burn the world in final purification. In the hearth, fire was life. Women guarded the flames with sacred care. In the forge, blacksmiths worked with fire to create tools and weapons, an act considered magical and divine. Bonfires during Yule symbolized the rebirth of the sun. Fire and smoke carried prayers skyward through the long winter dark. Greek and Roman fire cults. Hestia, Greek, and Vesta, Roman, embodied the hearth flame, protector of the home, family, and state. In Rome, the Vestals were virgin priestesses whose only duty was to tend the eternal flame in Vesta's temple. If the fire died, it was a national emergency. The extinguishing of flame was a sign of divine displeasure. Meanwhile, Hephaestus and Vulcan, gods of fire and smithing, represented fire's transformative power, creation through destruction, artistry through indigenous and pre-colonial fire worship. From the fire dances of the First Nations to the sunfire rituals of the Aztecs, fire was revered on nearly every continent. In Mesoamerica, fire was the breath of the gods. The new fire ceremony was performed every 52 years to rekindle the world's light. Among African tribes, sacred fires were used to connect it to ancestor spirits. In Australia, Aboriginal peoples viewed fire as a dreaming power, a life-giving, shape-shifting force that told stories through smoke and ember. Fire as a portal, always. Across all these ancient cultures, a common truth emerges. Fire was not merely energy. It was presence, a god, a guide, a destroyer, a midwife to transformation. Wherever humans gathered, they brought fire, and wherever they worshipped, fire was already there. Final thought for the seeker. When you light a flame today, be it a match, candle, or bonfire, you are reenacting a ritual thousands of years old. A pagan echo. You are whispering to the flame, I see you, I remember, I am ready. Series Whispers of Flame, the Ancient Path of Fire Magic. When we speak of fire, we do not speak of it as mere fuel or temperature. We speak of it as a being, one that breathes, hungers, dances, and transforms. The ancients did not simply use fire. They invoked it, honoured it, fed it. They saw the flame as a spirit, one that lived in both the outer world and the inner temple of the self. This episode is dedicated to the gods and spirits of flame, the keepers of hearth and forge, the dancers of lightning and lava, the whisperers in candlelight and the roaring guardians of volcanoes. Let us walk among the ancient fire spirits. Fire as a living elemental force. In pagan cosmologies, fire is one of the core elements alongside earth, air, and water. But unlike the others, fire was not passive, it demanded attention. To many, fire was seen as a guardian at the threshold between worlds, a messenger to gods and ancestors, a purifier of corruption and shadow, a teacher in transformation and surrender. Working with fire meant entering a relationship, not control, but respect. Agni, India Vedic tradition. Agni is one of the most ancient fire deities known to humanity, and still worshipped today in Hindu rituals. Name meaning, Agni literally means fire. Role, god of fire, priest of the gods, divine mouth through which offerings are consumed. Attributes, twin-faced, red-hued, riding a ram with flames as hair and eyes. Agni is invoked at the start of every Vedic ritual. He is not only the flame, but also the priest and the ritual itself. He carries the offerings, ghee, grains, incense, to the higher gods through his burning tongue. Without Agni, no ritual reaches heaven. In fire magic, Agni teaches us that flame is the voice of devotion. Brilliant. Ireland, one of the most beloved goddesses of the Celtic pantheon, Brigid is deeply tied to the sacred fire. Domains, healing, poetry, inspiration, the forge. Symbols, sacred flame, forge tools, white animals. Temple, the flame of Kildare, tended by 19 priestesses. Brigid's fire represents transformation through creativity. She is the patron of poets and blacksmiths, those who shape the world with word and tool. Her fire warms, heals, and forges. She teaches that fire is inspiration made visible. In fire magic, Brigid's flame is best invoked for creative awakening, healing wounds physical and emotional, protection over hearth and home. Hephaestus and Vulcan, Greek and Roman. In the Forge of Olympus, the god Hephaestus, Roman Vulcan, worked with fire like an artist with paint. Role, god of fire, metalworking invention. Depicted a lame god, yet powerful, wielding tools and flames. Sacred sites, volcanic regions were often seen as his domains. Hephaestus represents sacred craftsmanship, the magic of creation through fire. His forge is both a temple and a crucible. His flame is not wild but harnessed, directed, shaped. In magic, invoking Vulcan means calling on the power to build from your pain, to temper your will like steel. Sekhmet, the lion-headed warrior goddess, is pure solar fire in feminine form. Name meaning the powerful one. Role, goddess of war, destruction and healing. Element, the scorching desert sun and flame of purification. She was said to breathe fire upon enemies and burn away disease and chaos. Yet, as fearsome as she was, Sekhmet was also a healer, showing us that fire can wound and restore. In rituals, Sekhmet's flame is used to burn away illness or shadow, clear spiritual parasites, reclaim fierce divine feminine strength. Pella, Hawaiian tradition. From the volcanic islands of Hawaii comes Pele, goddess of fire, volcanoes, and passionate creation. Domain, earth-shaping lava, creative destruction, volcanic force. Personality, fierce, beautiful, wild-tempered. And sacred Pele is fire, as Earth Mother and Destroyer. She creates islands with her rage. She dances in molten rivers. She warns and blesses. She tests those who seek her, demanding courage. Pele reminds us that fire is not tame. She demands authenticity, devotion, and presence, doesn't she? In Norse tales, Logi is the personification of wild fire, swift, consuming, insatiable. Surtur, the fire giant, is destiny in flames, who shall one day burn the world in Ragnarok. Fire in the Norse tradition is inevitable. It is the end and beginning. It warms the mead hall, but also ends the world. To invoke this fire is to stand face to face with truth and fate. Use it to burn away illusions, face shadow without fear, embrace endings as gateways. The fire elemental, spirit of flame in witchcraft. In many magical traditions, especially Wicca and ceremonial magic, fire is called upon not as a deity, but as a spirit, an elemental. Often named salamander in occult teachings, the fire elemental moves with unpredictability and passion, guards the east or south, depending on tradition, is invoked in the casting of circles and elemental rites. To work with fire elementals is to engage with the raw, untamed will of the universe. It requires respect, clear intent, and courage. Invoking fire spirit, a simple ritual tool, a candle, natural incense, resin or herbs, a fire-safe bowl. Steps 1. Center yourself with 3 deep breaths. Feel your inner flame, the warmth behind your ribs. 2. Light the candle and speak aloud. Spirit of fire, I call you forth. Flame of passion, will and truth. Guardian of transformation, enter this space. Burn away illusion, ignite my soul. I greet you in honor and trust. 3. Offer a pinch of herbs or resin to the flame or incense. 4. Listen, feel, let fire speak. Final thought for the seeker. Fire is not yours to control, it is yours to respect. Treat it not as a servant, but as a sacred guest, for within every spark lives a being older than time, waiting to rise, to cleanse, to create, and to awaken you. See Whispers of Flame, the ancient path of fire magic. In the quiet centre of every ancient home burned a fire. It crackled behind the walls of clay, beneath the thatched roof, fed with wood and breath, and it never went out. This was not only for warmth, it was a spiritual heartbeat, a fire of blessing, protection, and presence. Today, we explore how ancient pagans lived with fire in their everyday lives and how they wove it into the rhythm of rituals, seasons, and soul work. The hearth as holy ground. In almost all pagan traditions, the hearth was the most sacred space in the home. It was where food was prepared and ancestors were honoured. It was a place of offerings, births, deaths, and oaths. It was the anchor between the physical world and the unseen realm. In some cultures, women were the official keepers of the flame, and this was seen as a priestess role. To let the fire die could mean bad luck, misfortune, or spiritual vulnerability. To sit by the hearth was to be under the protection of the gods. Daily fire practices in ancient homes. 1. Morning flame blessings. At dawn, the fire was stirred from the coals of the night before. A whispered prayer or chant would accompany this act, often thanking the fire spirit for keeping the family safe. 2. Cooking as ritual. Preparing meals over an open flame was more than survival, it was spell work. Herbs were added with intention. Stirring was done clockwise for blessings, counterclockwise to banish. 3. Fire offerings. Small portions of food or drink were placed directly into the flame. Gifts for house spirits, ancestors, or deities. The rising smoke was a message sent upward. 4. Ember charms. Charcoal or cooled embers were sometimes wrapped in cloth or stored in small pouches to protect travellers, animals, or newborns. 5. Fire as oracle. Crackles, pops, and the way smoke twisted were believed to carry omens. This was informal divination. The fire's mood was read like a spirit's expression.
Ceremonial fire practices.
Collective flame. While the hearth fire was personal, ceremonial fires were communal, marking festivals, life transitions, and seasonal shifts. They gathered the tribe, summoned the gods, and opened the veil between worlds. Here are a few examples. Beltane fires. Celtic festival of fire and fertility. Date May 1st. Purpose to celebrate the union of masculine and feminine forces, the fertility of land and life. Bonfire rituals. 2 fires were built side by side. People, animals, and even tools passed between them for purification and protection. Couples leaped the flames for fertility and passion. Ashes were collected and scattered on fields or kept in homes for luck. Imbolc flames, Festival of Light and Brigid, February 1st. Purpose to honour the returning Light and Brigid, keeper of the sacred flame. Rituals. Hearths were cleaned and rekindled with blessed fire. Candles were lit in every window. Offerings were made to Brigid by placing food and drink near the fire. Samhain fires, gateway to the ancestors. Date October 31st. Purpose, marking the end of the harvest and the thinning of the veil. Rituals, large fires were built at sacred sites. Families extinguished their hearths and relit them from the communal Samhain flame, a sign of unity and protection. Fire guided ancestor spirits home and kept malicious spirits at bay. Letha fires, summer solstice, date around June 21st. Purpose, celebrating the height of the sun's power. Rituals, fires were lit at sunrise and burned all day. Dancers circled flames to honour the solar god and goddesses. Herbs were thrown into the fire for blessing and healing. Candle magic, hearth flame in miniature. In times when open fires weren't possible or safe, the candle became the stand-in for the ancient hearth. Every candle flame carries the same spirit. It is alive, it listens, it transforms. Common practices: lighting a candle for a specific deity or intention, dressing candles with oils, herbs, and symbols, watching how the flame dances to read answers or omens, allowing a candle to burn completely as a spell of release or devotion. Fire ritual, reigniting the sacred hearth. You will need a small cauldron, fire-safe bowl or fireplace, kindling, dried herbs, small sticks, natural paper, a candle or lighter, optional written blessing or prayer. Ritual steps. 1. Prepare your space in silence. Let the moment feel ancient. 2. Place your kindling in the fire-safe vessel and light it with intention. 3. Say aloud, "From spark to flame I call thee now. Ancient fire, enter my home and heart. Burn away the heavy and the false. Warm me, bless me, awaken me." 4. Watch the flame dance. Offer gratitude, perhaps a few words of your truth, a hope, or a grief. 5. When the flame dies down, let the ash cool. Keep a pinch in a pouch or scatter it outside as a blessing. Final thought for the seeker. Fire is not just lit, it is welcomed. Whether in a stone hearth or the flicker of a single candle, fire hears your voice. Tend it like an elder. Feed it like a friend. It will guard you, transform you, and walk with you through darkness, always. Series, Whispers of Flame, the ancient path of fire magic. There is a moment, ancient and instinctive, when we place something into a flame, food, herbs, a lock of hair, a prayer on paper, and watch it vanish into smoke. But it does not simply disappear. To the ancients, this act was one of sacrifice, honour and exchange. Fire offerings were more than ritual. They were conversations with the unseen, a way to feed gods, contact ancestors, cleanse the soul, and align with the great spirit of all. The meaning of fire offerings. To give something to the fire was to let go of ownership. It was a surrender, a gift, a message carried upward. In ancient pagan belief, smoke was speech. The fire would consume and the smoke would rise to the divine. Offerings were often a way to ask for blessings, a way to give thanks, a way to heal or release, a way to honour spirits, gods, or seasons. But it was never done lightly. To offer was to sacrifice something of value, even symbolically. Historical fire offering traditions. Vedic fire sacrifice India. Known as yajna, this was one of the most elaborate and sacred rites in the Vedic tradition. A fire altar was constructed with sacred geometry. Offerings included ghee, grains, honey, milk, flowers, and prayers. Priests chanted mantras while feeding the flames. Agni, god of fire, acted as the divine courier to carry gifts to other gods. Let the flames be my breath, the smoke my voice. Rig Veda. Each spark, puff of smoke, and hiss of burning oil was a cosmic signal, a bridge between human and divine. Greek and Roman burnt offerings, called holocausts or hecatombs, large-scale, or thymiama, smoke offerings. Animals were burned fully or in part, often with incense and libations. The fire on an altar became the mouth of the gods. In Rome, during Vesta's rites, offerings of cake and wine were burned at the sacred hearth. The Vestal virgins ensured the flame never died, for to do so was to risk divine withdrawal. Celtic fire sacrifices. Fires were lit on sacred hills during Beltane and Samhain. Crops, effigies or animal parts were burned to honour the gods and ensure fertility or protection. Fire was also used to release bad luck, illness, spiritual pollution. In some tales, written pleas were burned in the flames to reach Brigid or the Cid fairy spirits. Mesoamerican fire ceremonies. The Aztecs performed the new fire ceremony every 52 years, destroying the old and igniting the new. Fires were extinguished throughout the empire. A high priest kindled the first spark upon a sacrificial chest. That fire was spread to all homes, a renewal of cosmic order. Burning copal resin, a sacred tree sap, was a common daily act, its rising smoke seen as the breath of the gods. Shamanic fire practices. Among shamans, especially in Siberian, indigenous American and Andean traditions, fire was a portal to the spirit world. Tobacco, herbs, bones or feathers were burned in offering. Fire was asked to carry prayers and burn away illness. Ashes were sometimes used for marking the body or blessing the land. The fire was spoken to, fed and treated as an elder. What to offer the flame today? Modern fire magic doesn't require grand altars or full animal sacrifices. The heart of the act is intention. Safe symbolic offerings include herbs, mugwort, dreams, rosemary, purification, bay, protection, sage, cleansing, resins, frankincense, spirit, myrrh, copal ascension, words written on paper, folded with breath and burned in prayer. Food and drink. A small portion of your meal, tea, wine, or honey, handcrafted items, origami, paper symbols, dried flowers, hair or cloth. Never burn plastics, toxic materials, chemically treated items, or anything that disrespects life. Types of fire offerings by purpose.
Offering example.
Gratitude, dried petals, honey on parchment. Protection, black salt, rosemary, written sigils. Healing, lavender, written wounds or memories. Release, letting go, bay leaf with written burden, lock of hair. Ancestral honour, copal, food, prayer scroll. Invocation of power, red candle, dragon's blood resin, sacred chant. Ritual, breath to smoke, heart to flame. A simple offering rite. You will need a candle or small fire-safe bowl with flame, something to offer, herb, written note, etc. A moment of silence and intent. Steps 1. Light your flame. Sit quietly with it. Watch. Breathe. 2. Hold your offering to your chest. Infuse it with your voice or silent thought. 3. Speak or whisper. Flame of spirit, rise and hear. I offer this with hand and heart. Smoke, carry my voice. Fire, awaken my truth. 4. Place the offering into the flame. 5. Watch it burn. Let it go fully. Allow the smoke to carry it up or inward. 6. When ready, close with, it is given, it is done. A final thought for the seeker. Fire does not just consume, it transforms. What you give it is never lost. It becomes something else. Ashes fall, but the spirit of your offering dances into realms beyond sight. This is the gift of fire magic, a living, breathing bridge between your soul and the unseen. Series Whispers of Flame, the ancient path of fire magic. Fire is not only for worship or warmth, it is an alchemist, ancient and unflinching. It strips, sears, reveals and rebirths. This is the fire that does not burn wood, but burns illusion. It consumes lies, habits, attachments, trauma and false identities, and gives back only what is essential. In this episode, we enter the sacred and often uncomfortable realm of transformation and shadow through the spirit of fire. What is alchemy of flame? Alchemy is the process of transmutation, turning lead into gold, sorrow into wisdom, pain into power. When worked with spiritually, fire becomes the catalyst of this change. It's not passive. It demands a price: surrender, truth, and courage. Fire alchemy is the path of facing your inner darkness, letting go of false identities, burning away past wounds, rising, purified and renewed. This is not the soft fire of the hearth. This is the ritual blaze you must walk through with eyes wide open.
Fire and shadow work.
In Jungian and magical systems alike, the shadow is the part of you that is hidden, denied or buried, including pain, rage, fear, shame and even power. To work with fire as a tool of shadow integration means allowing it to burn away what is false, illuminate what is hidden, refine what is authentic. Like the blacksmith's forge, you enter fire as raw metal and emerge as a sharpened blade tempered by heat and will.
Ancient echoes of transformation. Phoenix mythology.
From Egypt to Greece to early Christian mysticism, the phoenix is a bird that self-immolates and is reborn from its own ashes. It symbolizes the divine cycle of death and rebirth, the promise that nothing truly ends, only changes form. Working with the phoenix archetype means embracing the burn, allowing the death of the ego, the crumbling of old stories, and trusting the rebirth that follows.
Initiatory fire rites.
In many ancient cultures, initiation involved literal or symbolic fire. In shamanic traditions, fire marked the passage into spirit realms or adulthood. In Celtic Druidry, passing between fires was a rite of purification and rebirth. In African and Polynesian tribes, fire dances, branding, or ash markings initiated transformation. These rituals said, "You are no longer who you were, you are now who you are becoming." Flame and the psyche. Fire is more than symbol, it is a mirror of the soul. Inner reflection flame, calm, steady flame, inner clarity, readiness, truth flickering or sputtering, resistance, scattered energy, fear, sudden flare-up, shadow emerging, truth breaking through. Low or failing flame, hidden grief, suppressed power. By watching fire and your reaction to it, you begin to see what is alive within you.
Fire ritual.
Burn the lie, birth the truth. This is a powerful ritual for personal transformation. Do not take it lightly. You will need a fire-safe bowl or cauldron, a black candle, paper and pen, quiet space and courage. Steps. 1. Sit in silence. Light your black candle. Breathe deep. Let memories rise. 2. On the paper, write the lie you've lived under. Examples. I am not enough. I must stay small to be safe. This pain is all I am. 3. Read it aloud to the flame. Look at it. Honor it. Then say, this lie is known. This wound is seen. Flame of truth, transform me clean. 4. Burn the paper in the flame. Watch it curl, blacken, disappear. 5. Place your hands over your heart and speak your new truth aloud. Example, I am worthy of joy and fire. I rise from ash stronger than before. I am becoming who I was born to be. 6. Let the candle burn as long as you need. Sit in the warmth. Something has shifted. Tools of flame alchemy, dragon's blood resin for courage and power during transformation. Obsidian or lava stone to anchor the energy and absorb what's released. Black or red cloth for wrapping offerings or your written burdens. Sacred ash jar to keep ashes of past rituals as a symbol of what has died and what was reborn. Final thought for the seeker. Transformation by fire is not gentle. It scorches. It tests. It strips away all but the essential. But this is the sacred fire. It does not destroy, it refines. It does not punish, it purifies. It does not abandon, it awakens. Stand in the flame of your becoming and know that you are not being burned, you are being born. Series Wishant Path of Fire Magic. In the hands of the fire witch, even a single spark becomes a portal. A flickering flame becomes an altar. A scented oil becomes a whisper to the gods. Just as a blacksmith has hammer and forge, the fire witch carries tools of heat, scent, colour and flame, not to control fire, but to co-create with it. In this episode, we explore the sacred tools of flame magic, traditional and modern, subtle and roaring. The philosophy of fire tools. Fire is wild. It resists ownership. So fire tools are not instruments of command, but of communication. Each one serves a purpose: to invoke flame's energy, to contain its danger, to amplify its message, to focus its power. These tools, consecrated with care, become extensions of your will, echoes of ancient hands and keys to the elemental realm. The torch, flame as beacon and guardian. In ancient rites, the torch both light and weapon. It banished darkness, guided souls and marked sacred processions. Uses: guiding ancestral spirits during Samhain, leading ritual circles or initiations, banishing unwanted energy from a space. Modern adaptation: use a large ritual candle, fire-safe torch, or lantern filled with blessed herbs or resins. Invocation, an example. Torch of the old ways, flame of the path, light the unseen and burn through the dark. The candle, flame in miniature. Candles are the most versatile and accessible fire tool. Their colours, oils and shapes all hold meaning.
Which intent?
Red, power, passion, life force. Black, banishing, shadow work, protection. White, purity, invocation, truth. Gold, solar power, divine masculine success. Creativity, attraction, courage. Dress candles with sacred oils and herbs. Carve runes or sigils into the wax and anoint with your breath or blood if the ritual is deep. Fire witch tip: always bless the candle before lighting. Speak your intention clearly. Fire listens. The ember, flame's whispering soul. Embers are flames slowed down, the glow beneath the burn. In many traditions, embers were kept overnight to preserve the sacred fire's presence. Uses: divination, staring into coals for shapes and messages, carrying flame from one ritual space to another, embedding into charm bags or spell jars after they cool. Ember reading example: coiling ember. A spirit message is near, sudden flare, your intention has been accepted. Fading glow, more energy or clarity is needed. The oil, flame's breath in liquid form. Scent is sacred, it rides the heat like a prayer. Ritual oils, when added to candles or used in anointing, awaken specific fire spirits. Purpose in fire magician or of force. Cinnamon, stimulation, success, sacred heat. Clove, protection, firewalls, warding. Frankincense, spiritual elevation, solar connection. Dragon's blood, empowerment, passion, raw elemental force. Rosemary, purification, memory, mental fire. Ginger, quick results, energy, activating the will. Fire witch tip: blend your own fire oil. Base, olive or sunflower oil. Add 3-5 drops each of clove, cinnamon and ginger. Whisper your intent into it. Let sit in the sun for a full day before using.
The cauldron.
Though often associated with water or earth, the cauldron, when filled with flame or embers, becomes a fire womb, a space of death, transformation and birth. Ritual uses: burning pink paper, spells or herbs, holding charcoals for incense or resins, creating wish fires where intentions are burned and released. Place your cauldron on a sacred cloth. Speak to it, feed it. What is burned here is not lost, it is reborn. The fire bowl, open altar of flame. The fire bowl is a modern tool adapted from ancient altar fires, an open, fire-safe vessel where small ritual fires can be held indoors or outside. Best materials: cast iron, ceramic, thick stone. Uses: full moon or solstice rituals, group spell work, transformational shadow burns. Decorate your fire bowl with ash sigils, symbols of Brigid, or your own spiral markings. Herbs of the fire witch. Burning the right herb is like speaking the right word. Herb, magical fire use. Bay leaf, wishes, truth, release. Sage, cleansing, opening ritual space. Mugwort, spirit vision, fire dreams, lunar fire. Cinnamon bark, drawing firepower quickly. Cedar, protection, grounding, sacred boundaries. Nettle, wards banishment, sparking inner courage. Burn herbs on charcoal discs or directly in cauldron embers, as always give thanks. Other fire witch tools: charcoal discs to hold sacred resins like frankincense or myrrh. Incense fans or feathers to direct smoke and flame energy. Ash jars, keep ash from sacred fires to sprinkle around your home, altar or doorways. Fire wand, wooden one singed tip, used to draw sigils in smoke or invoke elemental fire in ritual circles. Mini ritual, fire witch consecration of tools. 1. Lay out your fire tools in a circle. 2. Light a single red or gold candle in the center. 3. One by one, pass each tool through the flame or smoke, saying, "By flame and spirit I awaken thee. In my hand you speak. In the fire you live. I name you sacred." 4. Anoint each tool lightly with fire oil. 5. Close with a fire breath. Inhale deeply, then exhale across the candle 3 times. Final thought for the seeker: these are not just objects, They are companions, keys, and echoes of every fire witch who has come before you. In your hands, the candle becomes a temple, the oil becomes invocation, the flame becomes a voice that knows your name. Care for your tools, and they will open doors you never knew were closed. These whispers of flame, the ancient path of fire magic. Since the earliest tribes gathered around flames beneath the stars, humans have honoured the sun's journey from its deepest slumber in winter to its triumph in summer. The Wheel of the Year, as known in Celtic, Norse, and other European pagan paths, is a sacred calendar of fire and light, 8 spokes of time where earth and spirit meet. In this episode, we explore the fire-centered festivals of the pagan year, where bonfires roar, candles burn, and flames mark time as ritual, renewal, and rebirth. The Wheel of the Year and the Flame. The wheel is divided into 4 solar festivals, solstices and equinoxes, and 4 cross-quarter festivals, fire festivals. Each marks a moment of seasonal and spiritual transition. Fire is central to these moments, not only as light but as spirit in motion. Fire calls back the sun when it fades. Fire welcomes growth as it returns. Fire purifies, protects, and blesses. Fire honours the ancestors and the gods. Let us walk the wheel together. 1. Imbolc, the flame return, February 1st, theme awakening, purification, hope. Deity Brigid, Celtic goddess of flame and inspiration. The first flicker of spring. Snow still lies on the ground, but below it, life stirs. Imbolc is a festival of new light. Fire rituals. Lighting candles in every window to welcome the sun and Brigid, cleansing the hearth and rekindling the sacred home fire. Burning away the old, past doubts, grief, winter's weight. Brigid's flame is kept in many traditions by women or flame keepers, a living thread of light in the darkness. 2. Ostara, equinox of balance, date around March 21st, theme balance, fertility, emergence. Symbols, eggs, hares, blossoms. Morning fire, Ostara is the spring equinox, day and night in perfect balance. It is the dawn of the year. Though not as fire-heavy as others, Ostara still includes light rituals. Lighting fires at sunrise to greet the sun's growing power, jumping over small flames for fertility and vitality, burning dried flowers from the past year to plant new seeds, literally and spiritually. Beltane, the fire of union, date May 1st, theme passion, creation, sacred marriage, known as one of the great fire festivals. The veil between worlds is thin, life is at its peak. Beltane is about sexuality, fertility, and divine union, often between the May Queen and Green Man. Fire rituals, twin bonfires lit on sacred hills. People pass between them for purification. Couples leap the flames to bless their union. Ash from the fire is smeared on the skin for blessing or protection. House fires are extinguished and relit from the Beltane flame. It is a time of sacred sensuality, of fire within the body. 4. Letha, the summer solstice. Date around June 21st. Theme, light, power, fullness. Deity themes, sun gods, solar queens, dragon fire, the longest day of the year. The sun is at full strength, and yet from here begins its decline. Letha is a moment of celebration and foreshadowing. Fire rituals, huge bonfires built and burned from sunset to sunrise, rolling burning wheels down hills, ancient solar symbol. Burning sacred herbs in gratitude, mugwort, St. John's wort, collecting ashes or embers for protection charms. Some traditions include ritual battles between the Oak King and Holly King, light and shadow in cosmic balance. 5. Lugnasod, Lammas, first harvest flate, August 1st. Theme, gratitude, sacrifice, reaping what was sown. Deity, Lug, the sun god and master of skills. The fields are golden, bread is baked, the first fruits of the year are gathered. Lugnasod is a festival of work, reward, and offering fire rituals. Baking bread and offering a piece to the fire, burning herbs from the harvest for luck and health. Ritual duels or skill contests around the fire in honor of Lug. Walking around sacred fires with crops or tools for blessing. It's a time to thank the flame that ripened the fields. Date around September 21st. Theme, balance, reflection, release. Symbols, wine, fruits, darkening light. As the day and night once again balance, Mabon invites us to begin letting go. Though fire plays a subtler role here, it still appears in candle rituals and hearth rites. Fire rituals, lighting candles for ancestors and shadow work, burning leaves or regrets in quiet sunset rituals, holding harvest feasts by firelight to bless the closing cycle. It is a time of fire turning inward, soft, quiet, sacred. The Fire of the Dead, October 31st theme, Death, Ancestors, Endings, known as the Witches' New Year and the Final Fire Festival. The veil is at its thinnest. Spirits walk. Samhain is a festival of death and descent, and fire is our protection and guide. Fire rituals, bonfires lit to ward off malicious spirits, divination flames, peering into fire for visions of the year to come, lighting candles for the dead on windowsills or altars, extinguishing and relighting home hearths with the sacred Samhain flame. Ashes were often kept through winter to protect the home and honour those who came before. 8. Yule, the Flame in Darkness. Date around December 21st. Theme, rebirth, hope, light returning. Symbols, Yule log, candles, the longest night. The sun has reached its lowest point and now it is reborn. Fire rituals. The Yule log is lit, a sacred wooden offering decorated with holly, pine and runes. Candles are lit to welcome back the sun. Fire is kept burning all night in some traditions to guard against winter spirits. Embers of the Yule log are saved to light the next year's fire. Yule is a promise, even in the darkest hour, light returns. Fire and the turning year. A flame for every season, festivus, flame purpose, Imbolc, purification, new beginnings, Ostara, awakening, fertility, balance, Beltane, passion, sacred union, Letha, power, celebration, fire mastery, Lugnasad, gratitude, sacrifice, return, Marbolance, release, shadow honor, ancestor fire, death protection, Yule rebirth, endurance, sacred hope. Flame of the wheel. Choose a candle to represent each festival, colour-coded if you wish. Over the course of the year, light them one by one, honouring the flame's different faces. Invocation example, flame of the year, I turn with thee, in birth and death, in growth and rest, from spark to blaze, from ash to rise. Keeper of time, burn in me. Final thought for the seeker, the wheel turns, and so do you. Flame is your compass, your teacher, your ally. In every festival a lesson, in every fire a memory, in every season a part of your soul. Honour the fire, walk the wheel, become the flame. Series, Whispers of Flame, the ancient path of fire magic. Fire is not just an element, it is alive. Every flicker, every spark, every wave of heat is a spirit in motion, an ancient presence, older than language, older than myth. In the traditions of witches, shamans and mystics, fire is home to conscious beings, allies and guardians of power, passion, creation and purification. Some you summon, some you serve, some you were born under. Let us walk the ember path together and meet them. The nature of fire spirits. Unlike the stillness of earth or the flow of water, fire spirits are fast, vivid and intense. They are driven by will, desire, transformation, light and shadow, both. To work with them is to learn respect. They are not tame, but they are deeply loyal to those who walk with courage and clarity. Elemental spirits of fire. In Western esoteric systems, notably from Paracelsus and alchemical lore, the elemental beings of fire are called salamanders, not the amphibians, but ancient entities of pure flame. Traits of salamanders appear as serpentine or lizard-like fire beings, dwell in hearths, candles, volcanoes, the sun. Catalysts of change, inspiration, drive, and destruction. Can be summoned during spell work involving power, release, passion, or defense. Signs a salamander is present. Sudden flare in your flame, crackling that sounds like whispering, feeling energized, flushed, or fevered mid-ritual invocation. Salamander, flame's dancing kin. Spirit of fire, rise from within, burn away doubt, ignite my will, flame-born guardian with me still. Important, salamanders will test your heart. If your intent is not clear, they will scatter. Household fire spirits. In ancient European households, it was believed each fire was home to a spirit of the hearth, often female in energy, protective, maternal or wise. Known as domovoi, Hestia's flame, Greek, Lares, Roman, Hearth elves or Hausgeister, Germanic, Offerings to hearth spirits, fresh herbs, a drop of milk or honey into the flame, whispered gratitude each morning when lighting the fire. Signs of a happy hearth spirit. Your flame burns clear and steady. The home feels warm and safe. You feel watched over in the quieter day. These spirits bond deeply once welcomed. They may guard your home for generations. Flame familiars. Spirit companions of fire witches. Some witches work with personal fire spirits, familiars that appear in dreams, visions, or trance. They often take forms such as fire serpents, phoenixes, ember-eyed wolves or big cats, children made of light, living torches or flame silhouettes. How to meet them. Meditate with a candle in the dark. Burn a pinch of dragon's blood or frankincense. Whisper, "If flame be friend, let it show its name." Keep a dream journal. Their names often appear in dreams or flashes. Once bonded, a fire familiar becomes a guardian of your flame magic, amplifying your spells, warning of danger, and guiding you through shadow. Notable fire deities and their spirits. Working with fire deities often introduces you to their flame hosts, minor spirits, ancestors, or forces under their domain.
Dirty.
Vlafided, Celtic, Inspathratian muses, flame nuns. Edic, tongues of flame, divine messengers, ritual embers. Lava beings, volcanic fire dancers, hot mist spirits. Hephaestus, Greek, forge sparks, metal-shaping elementals. Solar lions, desert fire winds, blood flame apparitions. Scarvic skyfire, star forgers, smith spirits. Each deity's flame is different in mood, colour and effect. Some healing, some fierce, all sacred. Calling fire spirits in ritual. Fire spirits do not obey commands, they respond to resonance. This means your tone, clarity, intention and respect matter deeply. Simple summoning circle. 1. Draw a spiral or triangle in ash or red chalk. 2. Place candles at the 3 points, or 4 if using elemental directions. 3. Burn a fire-aligned herb, cinnamon, bay, rosemary. 4. Say, "Spirits of fire, old and bright, dance with me through smoke and light. I call with heart, not with chain. Come in peace and not in pain. Remain alert. Listen. Watch your flame." Messages may come in heat rushes, flickers, inner words, or scent shifts. Protecting yourself when working with fire spirits. These beings are powerful, not evil, but intense. They must be honoured properly.
Safety and boundaries, Lars.
Always cast a circle or invoke guardians before calling them. Have water or earth nearby as grounding elements. If the energy gets overwhelming, extinguish the flame respectfully. Ground barefoot. Speak. The flame is thanked and now dismissed. Return to light in peace and bliss. Fire witch exercise. Flame spirit bonding. Try this to begin forming a relationship with a fire entity or familiar. You'll need 1 red candle, dragon's blood or sandalwood incense. Quiet space and journal. Steps 1. Light the candle and incense. 2. Close your eyes. Feel the warmth on your skin. 3. Whisper. Flame, if you know my soul, show me your name. 4. Listen. Watch the flame. Breathe. 5. Write anything that comes, a shape, feeling, sound, or name. Repeat for 7 nights. Over time, the spirit may speak more clearly. Final thought for the seeker. Within every fire a being watches. It may test you, it may teach you, it may burn away all falsehood until only your core fire remains. To walk with flame spirits is to walk in courage and clarity. They are not yours to possess, but they may choose you. Let your fire burn not just in ritual, but in presence, in truth, in sacred power. Series Whispers of Flame, the ancient path of fire magic. Fire magic is not abstract. It is raw, direct, and results-based. It gets things moving fast. When you cast a spell with fire, you are not just wishing, you are commanding energy through transformation, burning, rising, transmuting. The flame becomes your cauldron, your sword, your beacon. In this final episode, we explore how to design, cast, and complete real fire magic spells for healing, attraction, release, power, and more.
What is a fire spell?
A fire spell is a ritual act in which an object, word, or substance is burned, lit, or activated through flame to cause a spiritual shift and manifest physical change. Fire equals immediate action. These spells break blockages, ignite motivation, destroy old patterns, draw fast opportunities, send energy upward to higher planes. Because fire spells are potent, they must be precise and respectful. Preparing to cast a fire spell. 1 intent first. Write down what you truly want. Be clear. Fire responds to precision. 2. Gather tools. Fire-safe bowl, cauldron or outdoor fire, candle, colour chosen by spell type, oils, herbs, paper, matches, fire extinguisher or water. Safety is sacred too. 3. Set sacred space, cast a circle or invoke elemental guardians, light incense to signal spiritual work, ground yourself. Fire ego equals chaos, so come in clean. Fire spell templates, customizable. 1. Quick manifestation flame, candle petition spell. Purpose: fast results, job offer, phone call, opportunity. You'll need orange or gold candle, cinnamon oil, small paper with your desire in present tense, I received the call. Steps: 1. Dress the candle with oil, moving upward. 2. Hold the paper over your heart. Say aloud, with fire I call it, with flame I claim it, what is mine arrives now. 3. Burn the paper in the candle flame and let the candle burn down fully.
2.
Cord burning release spell. Purpose: letting go of a person, tie, trauma, or energetic drain. You'll need 2 candles, 1 for you, 1 for the tie, red string or natural twine, paper with the tie's name, energy written. Steps: 1. Tie the cord between the 2 candles. 2. Light both and say, this flame severs, this fire frees. What no longer serves now leaves me. 3. Cut the cord, burn the paper, let the flames consume the connection. 3. Fire for courage or shadow confrontation. Step into power, face fears, reclaim lost strength. You'll need black candle, dragon's blood or clove oil, mirror, your written fear. Steps: 1. Face the mirror, light the candle before you. 2. Read your fear aloud, let it echo, feel it rise. 3. Burn the paper. Say, what is faced is no longer feared. I walk through flame and do not burn. 4. Blow out the candle in strength. Sit in the smoke. Attraction flame spell, friendship, connection. Purpose: draw aligned people or relationships. You'll need pink or red candle, rose and cinnamon oil, petals, honey, and a written list of what you desire in a person. Steps: 1. Anoint the candle. Speak by flame and sweetness, let this heart be seen. I draw the right soul, loving and clean. 2. Burn the list and bury the ashes with petals and honey. 5. Phoenix spell, death and rebirth of self. Major personal transformation or ending of a life phase. You'll need black's white candle, ashes from past paper spells, 1 small feather or symbol of your old self, new sigil or affirmation of your becoming. Steps: 1. Black candle, burn the old feather symbol, cry, scream, be raw. 2. Mix ashes with salt. Speak, I have been, I now am. 3. Light white candle, speak your new truth, burn the sigil. 4. Bury old ashes. Keep the white candle wax or ashes as a talisman. Fire herb combos for spell types. Rosemary, bay, cedar, power, cinnamon, clove, dragon's blood. Release, mugwort, myrrh, black pepper. Love attraction, rose, cardamom, vanilla. Spirit, contact, copal, sandalwood, frankincense. Wealth, basil, cinnamon, orange peel. Burn herbs on charcoal or sprinkle them into the flame. Tiny pinch only. Fire witch tips for success. Always thank the flame afterward. It's a spirit, not just a tool. Record your spells, especially flame behavior and outcomes. If a flame won't light, flares violently, or goes out, pause. The energy may be wrong or you may be too emotionally charged. Use ashes for charm bags, ink, or sigil drawing. The quieter your mind, the louder the fire speaks. Final thought for the seeker: you are now the flame bearer. You know its breath, you hear its voice. What you burn is not lost, it is spoken to the universe. The fire moves through you now. Use it with wisdom, use it with love, use it to become fully, fiercely, beautifully alive.